YouTube suspends Russell Brand from making money off his channel. It's off of the allegation that has recently dropped. These are allegations that are not proven. Again, but they've decided even off the allegations to make this decision. I'll read the subtext. YouTube has blocked Russell Brand from making money off his platform, and the BBC pulled some of his shows from his online streaming service. A lot of people have been chiming in on this. Another headline, breaking: YouTube has completely demonetized Russell Brand. YouTube suspends Russell Brand for making money off of his channel. The suspension comes following the publication of RAPE allegations and sexual assault allegations against the British star, who has developed into a wellness and conspiracy influencer. This is also Nico House. So let's listen to his video about the allegations, and then we'll get a little more into what YouTube has done with the article.
So Russell Brand has come under some pretty serious accusations claiming that he's been guilty of sexual assault and sexual misconduct. Now, I'm not here to render a guilty or innocent verdict for Russell Brand because I don't know Russell Brand's past. And he himself has admitted personally in his book to some of his problematic behaviors towards women. And it's important to remember that Russell Brand has categorically denied any alleged illegal behavior regarding sexual relationships with women. But I must say, I do find it interesting that a man who has over 1 billion views and 6.6 million followers on YouTube alone, and a man who got these billions of views and millions of followers specifically by going after the mainstream media and challenging their credibility on the most prominent issues of today. That same man had an investigation done into his past life by the mainstream media. The same mainstream media he's constantly criticizing. And you already have many mainstream publications that are jumping on the bandwagon and talking about these allegations as if they're 100% true, in addition to engaging in ad hominem attacks on Russell Brand. And I'm just confused because the same liberal publications that are saying we should call into question the legitimacy of Brand's political opinions had none of this energy for Biden, who was credibly accused by Tara Reid and multiple other women while he was running for president. Because according to the mainstream media, because of the allegations against Russell Brand, he should be persona non grata and no one should watch him, no one should listen to him, and he shouldn't be considered valid. But those same people didn't feel that the allegations, the credible allegations against Biden, didn't disqualify him as president. And those same mainstream media talking heads and journalists didn't go out of their way to start a counter investigation in order to smear the accusers of Joe Biden. So like I said, I'm not here to tell you whether or not Russell Brand is guilty or innocent. I have zero idea if he's guilty or innocent. But what I do know is this. If Russell Brand was guilty but playing ball for the establishment, this wouldn't even be a story. And we also know because of history that even if Brand is innocent, they will speak as if he is guilty because he is speaking out against the establishment. But what's even more disturbing is the fact that the mainstream will only take allegations from women seriously if they're being levied against somebody that the establishment doesn't like. But if you play ball for the establishment, even if they have photos of your sexual misconduct, you might end up being president one day.
Love these little clips. A way of getting the information, information directly to you in a short form. But let's bring up the article now, the AP article. YouTube suspends Russell Brand from making money off of streaming sites after sex assault claims. YouTube said Tuesday, that's today, that Russell Brand will no longer make money from the video streaming site after several women made allegations of sexual assault against the comedian turned influencer. The BBC removed some of Brand's material from its streaming archive, joining a growing list of organizations distancing themselves from the performer, who denies sexual assault and has not been charged with any criminal offenses. That has nothing to do with YouTube. They'll take you down regardless. YouTube said monetization of Brand's account, which has 6.6 million subscribers, has been suspended, quote, following serious allegations against the creator. Allegation, quote, this decision applies to all channels that may be owned or operated by Russell Brand, end quote, the Google-owned video service said. The suspension means Brand won't be able to earn money from the ads that run within and alongside YouTube videos, which have titles including, quote, what really started the Hawaii fires, and, quote, COVID TARs admit lockdowns were never about science, end quote. Other channels associated with brand's main YouTube page include Awakening with Russell, which has 426,000 subscribers, Football is Nice, which has some 20,000 subscribers, and Stay Free with Brand, which has 22,000 subscribers. Pause here. I didn't know he had all of those accounts on YouTube. Go back to the article. Brand still has a presence on Rumble, a video site popular with some conservatives and right-wing groups, where his channel has 1.4 million followers. He also has 11.2 million followers on X, formerly known as Twitter, and 3.8 million on Instagram. It's funny they say Rumble is a conservative, right-wing, far right-wing groups. I guess. Let's continue with the article. Brand 48 denies allegations of sexual assault made by 4 women in a Channel 4 television documentary and the Times and Sunday Times newspaper. The accusers, who have not been named, include one who have said she was sexually assaulted during a relationship with him when she was 16. Another woman says Brand RAPED'd her in Los Angeles in 2012. The 4 allegations date between 2016 and 2006 and 2013. London's Metropolis Police Force said that since those claims were made public, it has received a report of a separate sexual assault dating from 2003. Now we're going to go to Twitter and get some reaction here. Russell Brand, YouTube, I just searched, and let's see what comes up. Here is Max Blumenthal, friend of the show, friend of the network. He's been on many times. I joined Russell on 9/11 to discuss the financial censorship of anti-establishment voices by Silicon Valley social media and crowdfunding companies. This was one of Brand's last show before YouTube demonetized his channel following the tabloid publication of sexual abuse allegations. YouTube, wow, I didn't know. Max, for all of this. YouTube has justified its move on the basis of its vague creator responsibility policy, which forbids real-world harm to YouTube users, employees, and ecosystems. The Google-owned company move will inevitably harden the perception that Brand is the target of a coordinated hit, and should raise questions about the influence of state actors on the company's decision. YouTube threatened the gray zone with a strike following our live stream about British journalist Paul Manson's collaboration with the Ukraine security state. The stream was permanently deleted. As Jonathan Cook has pointed out, Brand's antics were no secret in Hollywood, but only became an issue after he rehabilitated himself and emerged as one of the world's most prolific critics of corporate media. And unsettling as some of the allegations against Brand might seem, he has not yet been convicted of anything in court. He has denied the charges and has not clearly violated YouTube's terms of service through any of his online content. But a jury of faceless corporate functionaries have nonetheless found him guilty in the privatized, politically co-opted space that serves as our digital commons, and punished with the financial sanctions, as what happened to Max Blumenthal with was it GoFundMe? Yeah, I think it was GoFundMe. Let's play a little bit of this exchange that he's talking about when he was on Russell's show. This is about censorship in Silicon Valley. Let's listen.
He's joining us now. Max, hello, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Great to see you.
How you
Thanks.
doing?
Yeah, you know, man, we're operating in a beautiful space. I'm sure you'll agree that working in this independent media space is free from consequences. It's a giddy buccaneering affair, and you never get the sense that the forces of evil are co-aligning and coalescing to, for example, shut down your GoFundMe. Can you tell us a little bit about that story, mate?
Yeah, well, it's a giddy buccaneering affair for independent swashbucklers like ourselves, and our ship was targeted by apparently national security state pirates. We have no idea who they actually are because they hide behind the veneer of these supposedly private Silicon Valley based companies like GoFundMe. As you said, you were saying before in the run up to this interview, the FBI has honeycombed its places like Facebook or Meta and Twitter with its own operatives. You even have former CIA people there. But these crowdfunding sites do the same thing, and it's poorly understood. So I'll just tell you what happened to us, and I think your audience will better understand how dangerous it is for them to work with, to try to raise money for anything remotely political when you have the national security state operating behind the scenes, telling them that they may have to sanction people if their political views go against their own objectives. So we launched a crowdfunder for 3 of our contributors. You've had one of them on, named Kit Clarenberg. 3 of our most dedicated contributors to provide them with long-term positions. And so for our audience, it was a chance to just support independent media that they like. We went through GoFundMe. People are now calling me naive. And the GoFundMe was failing to transfer the money. We had raised about $90,000 in 3 weeks. And I went over to GoFundMe's forum to ask them what happened to the money. And it took a while. And I finally received a message from a trust and safety officer only named Sabrina. I had no idea who she was. And she's
very, very, very suspicious, but I don't want to leave the segment off on a tangent. We have covered this GoFundMe story and Gray Zone story, how they confiscated the money from Gray Zone. We have talked about this, but look at what we're seeing here more broadly. You see what's happening to people like Russell Brand, and that's to say that the allegations could be true. Let's say the allegations are true. They're bringing him up now because of the work he's doing. Let's say the allegations are not true or some sort of smear campaign. They're bringing it up because of the work he's doing against the ruling class. And they're not playing. You see what they do to the Gray Zone because of the work that the Gray Zone does. Let me see if one more reaction. Let me see. Regardless of where you stand or what you believe about Russell Brand, this sets the precedent that any private entity, YouTube in this case, can demonetize anyone at the mere appearance or accusation of impropriety, turning the concept of due process entirely on its head. No longer must somebody violate the terms of service. No longer must those violations occur on the platform where the demonetization is to take place. No longer must there be any evidence of impropriety beyond simply the claims of individuals. Regardless, let me pause here. What the reason they make the threshold so low is because he's speaking against the powers that be. That's when they make the threshold to prove something very, very low. Any reason to get him off the platform, in other words. Back to the post. Regardless of where you stand, realize the kind of Pandora's box that this has now opened. It is now easier than ever to destroy the voices and livelihoods of people who choose to speak out conscientiously against the powers that be. The mere whiff of an accusation is all that needs to be secured in order to silence someone. Let that sink in. And I'll pause there because that's a get in to kind of button up this segment, because that's spot on. And I don't even know who this person is, but shout out to this person and their tweet. Frank Lombardo. I don't know who they are. I'm sure. Do some of you know that? Frank Lombardo, but this is This is a fantastic tweet that covers the topic and sums it up perfectly.